Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So today, going through the ultimate Ramadan prep. We've already gone about the meaning of Ramadan and why we celebrate it. So to move on, let's go now, inshallah, and talk about how you and why you gain weight. So again, in the name of Allah, we start everything. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Made this small lecture that I've made be very beneficial to you. And inshallah, let's begin. So a month of fasting and not feasting, we have covered this in a previous video. Why you gain weight? So basically it's because you're overeating. And more specifically, you're eating more than you burn. So it's calories in versus calories out. What this means is you, especially during Ramadan, are eating more than your body is physically using. That's what I mean by calories in versus calories out. But don't worry, I will not make you count calories. If you could, I would love that. It would be so much easier and more efficient for you to lose weight. But I don't want to stress you out because this is for my Asian uncles and aunties, other cultures too, but predominantly people in South Asian families because that's the people I understand I'm closest with. It's for the busy fathers and people who are completely new to fitness. So it could be if you're young, you're 16 and you have no idea and you just want to lose some weight. Totally fine. This is for you too, inshallah. And yes, again, I will emphasize counting calories is the best way to efficiently lose weight. But here we're going to talk about some tips on how to keep the weight off. But I will go into the science behind calories because you need to understand it. So what's maintenance calories? Your maintenance calorie is basically how many calories you consume to stay roughly the same weight if your activity level doesn't change. Meaning, through an example, we calculate it by doing around 15 times your body weight in pounds. Okay? So if you're someone where in the UK you weigh 100 kg, that's very heavy, by the way. 100 kg is very heavy even for an adult man, even if you're quite tall. That's around 220.462 pounds. Let's just make it 220. We don't need to overcomplicate it. So 220 times 15 is 3,300 calories. What that means is if you were to eat 3,300 calories as a 100 kg man or woman, doesn't matter, you will stay roughly the same weight forever if your activity level stays the same. Meaning you live the same day in, day out. You go to work, come home, do a bit of exercise that you usually do. No increase in exercise, no decrease in exercise. You eat around 3,300 calories, you will stay 100 kg. Roughly. I say roughly because there's variables that can affect why you gain or lose weight. That can be medical issues. So it has almost nothing to do with how often you eat, but you have various issues that can cause weight change. Also water weight, okay? So you see, some people, everybody, when they lose weight early on and they're cutting down on how much they eat, and they may be very dehydrated at times, and then they're like, wow, I've lost so many calories. I've lost so much weight, maybe around 5 to 10 kilos of weight. Yeah, in a week, 10 kilos roughly about 10 days to 2 weeks. And you're like, wow, this is amazing. I've lost so much weight. And then suddenly you lose only half a kilo, maximum 1 kilo if you're doing very well in your training every once a week, because that's a regular progression of fat loss, not weight loss, fat loss. But then at the beginning, you're not just going to lose fat, you're going to lose a lot of water weight. You see, water has no calories, but it still has weight. 1 liter of water is still 1 kilograms. Exactly 1 kilograms. So if you're drinking 1 liter, you will gain 1 kilo for that time, because again, you're going to pee it out, you're going to go to the toilet, and it's going to go. But the more water you drink, the more weight you're going to have. So that's why, when you see professional bodybuilders and actors, just before that shirtless scene, superhero movies especially, they extremely dehydrate themselves. Because why? When there's less water inside your body, your muscles are very tight because the skin wraps around the muscle. So that's why you want to be very dehydrated before those special scenes in a movie. But you don't want that throughout the day. We want to drink water. You want to be as hydrated as you can. So you drink as much water as you can before you start the fast, and especially after you break your fast. So don't be concerned if you are someone who's on your weight loss journey and suddenly you're like, wow, I lost so much weight and now it's just almost stagnant. No. Now it's going through its natural progression. So you're going well. You're doing very well, inshallah. Now, this is the issue that we're stuck in. You're in a calorie surplus. What's a calorie surplus? Your maintenance is 15 times your body weight in pounds. Yes, but anything above maintenance is calorie surplus. Okay, anything you eat above your maintenance level is a calorie surplus. This is where you gain weight, especially in Ramadan. It's easier than any month to gain more weight because you're always in above your maintenance. Why? Because we eat more calorie dense food and they aren't as filling. So I'm going to give you some examples, right? What this really means is small portions, high calories. So in Ramadan, we tend to eat very high oily, very high sugary foods. And these are generally small portions. Most is pretty small. You can have 5 of those. Sweets are very small. You can have 20 of those. 20 Snickers bars. Really, well, 10 if it's a regular Snickers bar. And you put on a lot of calories. Because they're not filling, you can just eat more and more and more. And as a practical example of this, right? Ras Malai. This is my favorite. This is why I had to put it. And Royal Ras Malai, I found the calories to them. That's why I put it on there. But they're actually my favorite ones. So I'm not sponsored by them, by the way, okay? Don't worry. So with Royal Ras Malai, as you can see, it's around 214 calories, right? Per 100 gram. The whole box is 500 grams. So 100 is about a fifth of it. So we can assume that 125 grams is around 1 Ras Malai. But again, that includes the milk and the weight from the milk. So let's just say 100 grams, for argument's sake, is 1 Ras Malai. 1 Ras Malai is around 214 calories, 7 grams of fat, right? Now, this is not that great of a picture. This is just a plate of rice, my plate of rice. It's 100 grams of white rice, chicken drumettes, so basically wings, and 1 potato. Very little curry sauce as well. You can see it's quite dry because that's how I have it. It stops me from adding additional calories from the sauce. And if you see from the side, it's actually not a lot. It looks like a lot. It's half a plate. It's really not. It just, the camera angle makes it look like it's very high. It's not that much. Now that 117 calories just for the rice, 100 grams of rice, around 90 grams of chicken, that's 183 calories, and 26 grams of potato, just 1 decent sized potato, which is 22 calories. Altogether, that's only 322 calories. Okay, it's 322 calories. We're going to go into this afterwards because first, you saw the Ras Malai. 100 grams is 214. How much do you think a Snickers bar is? This is a typical 48 gram Snickers bar. Okay, and of course, we should be staying away from it anyway. Even if it's as little as staying away from a Snickers bar, do what you can to help the people of Gaza. May Allah give them victory and destroy the oppressors. Ameen. 248 calories. Not for 100 grams, for 1 Snickers bar. For 1 48 gram Snickers bar. It's more than 1 Ras Malai. It's more than 100 grams of rice. It's nearly the same as that plate of rice. That plate of rice is 322 calories. So what if you had 100 grams? That's just 2 Snickers bars. 2 this small typical Snickers bar that you get in a multi-pack. 516 calories from 2 Snickers bars. And to make it even more simpler, if you could just pick one for you to eat, right? You would have to gain the same weight. Remember, we're going by calories. Right now, even though I showed you the fat there and the protein and the carbs, just think about the calories for now. You could have either 2 Snickers bars, 2.3, roughly 2.3 Ras Malai, so you still have 2, or 1.5 plates, just over 1.5 plates of chicken and potato curry. So I have 2 Snickers bars, or 1.5 plates of chicken curry, so that plate plus another half, and you would gain around the same weight. Seriously. So you see what I mean by small portions, high calories? That's how dangerous it is, overeating these sweets. You might say, Ramadan, no, I don't eat that much. I eat one jalebi. I eat 1 gulab jamun, whatever, right? You see how dangerous it is. When you think you're having little, you're really not. Because it's not filling and it's small, you think it's okay. It's really not okay because the calories are so dense. If you were to have, forget you, if I was to have 10 Snickers bars, of those I can have 10 Snickers bars in a day and still be able to have 3 plates of rice. 10 Snickers bars is 2,500 calories, just over that. That's more than my maintenance. I'm 70 kilos right now. My maintenance is around 2,250, around there, yeah? I'm already 250 calories above my maintenance if I just have 10 Snickers bars in a day. But I could still eat 3 plates of rice in that day, maybe 4. 2 for lunch, 2 for dinner. But I still wouldn't feel full, especially since these high sugary things and these processed foods make you want to eat more because it's very high in carbs. It's not satiating, these carbs. So it's extremely dangerous and something that you should be aware of. Definitely pick your food properly and understand that just because it's small doesn't mean it's less. So the main dangers of increasing calorie intake with small foods is deep frying. So there's various variables when it comes to fried, increasing your calories in fried food, because it's kind of complicated, because a lot of things we fry we cover in breadcrumbs or other kind of batter for flour, and say rice flour, if I remember correctly, takes in less oil than all-purpose flour. So there's a lot of variables in it, so we can't really always tell how much the calories are increasing. No, that is quite a lot. And sometimes, yes, you can remove the oil by putting it on a piece of paper and draining it. It does take out a lot of oil. I know all of our mothers do this, a lot of our families, when you cook it. But be aware, okay? Just because it's light doesn't mean it's low or it's even healthier, okay? So think about, all oils are just fat. It's just pure fat. Doesn't matter if it's high in saturated, polysaturated, monosaturated, trans fat. Look, fat is fat. Oil is just pure fat, okay? That doesn't technically mean it's bad, but just because something says healthy fat doesn't really mean it's any different. It's just about calories. We're talking about calories here. I'm not talking about all the other health benefits of coconut oil or peanut oil and stuff. No, we're just talking about calories. It's the same thing. And some may say light olive oil. You know, the sprays, no difference from olive oil. It's just the taste is lighter, not healthier. Do not confuse light with healthy or low calorie. It's because it's more refined. And look, all fat is around 9 calories per gram, okay? And you may be thinking, look, I've heard, like I mentioned before, coconut oil is maybe a bit healthier, so I'm going to have more of it. No, they're all roughly the same calories, okay? And you might think, okay, I'm going to switch, peanut oil, because we've heard that peanut oil is great for, now there's a lot of people saying it's great for cooking or deep frying, right? But so I'm going to replace it with sunflower oil or olive oil. It's around the same. So because you may think it's healthier, doesn't mean you can have more of it, because if the calories are the same, regardless of what additional health benefits you get, you're still going to put on weight because the calories are about the same. So you can't have more of it just because it may be healthier. You understand? Yes, you may add other health benefits to it. Some people say sunflower oil is better for the heart. Some people say coconut oil is better for the skin, and there are studies on this and the hair. Great. Doesn't mean you can still have more. You'll just put on more weight. And a calorie deficit, this is where we need to be. So anything below your maintenance, so surplus is above your maintenance, deficit is below your maintenance. This is where you need to be to lose weight. If you're going for very simple understanding of calories in, calories out. Okay, 2 basic approaches, which is the first one is reduce calorie intake, means eat less. That's what we're covering in today's video. Increase energy expenditure, so more exercise. Different video. We stick to food today. So we've talked about some of the things of understanding that some foods can be more denser. Now, what about oils? Which oils, which is the ones that give a lot of the calories in the foods we eat, are healthier? Who cares? Seriously, no oil. Air fry is the way. With air fry, you do not need even a tablespoon of olive oil, a teaspoon of olive oil, nothing, unless you're maybe mixing it into the marinade. But you do not need to worry about those additional calories. Air fry is the way. But I do understand that some people can't afford one or do not have one. I totally get it. Just in case, I recommend sunflower oil for deep frying, olive oil for shallow frying. If you have other oils and you're okay with them, use them. It's fine. It's just for someone who doesn't have time to do a lot of research, and you're especially South Asian, you will have one or both of these at home. Because it's at home, sunflower oil is better for deep frying because of its smoking point, and olive oil is better for shallow frying. from the research that I've done. Do your own research, please, because it's amazing to study this. It's so interesting, but still limit your oil consumption. And if you can, no additional oil. Please, it destroys you. Why? Because you're never doing this outside of Ramadan. So suddenly when you do it inside Ramadan, all those additional calories add up. Skinless meat. This is another tip I'm going to give you, right? It reduces so much calories from it because skin is just fat. And it holds onto a lot of oil. So when you're frying it, it's even worse. And again, I just added this part about it loses water, so some of its fat in the frying absorbs some amount of oil. Don't overthink that part. It gets confusing trying to calculate how much extra fat went into your cooking, because it will lose weight anyway because some of that water is going to evaporate. But think about it this way. This is the calories for 100 grams of fried coated chicken leg with skin. So typical chicken leg with skin, 100 grams, but it's coated. What is coated in? I'm assuming it's batter. Okay, I don't know, but there's breadcrumbs. I did try and check it out, but it's fine because all the calories that I have later are around the exact same portion of chicken. But 250 calories for 100 grams of fried chicken leg, coating, skin is still on, but there's no coating. Drops by around 14 calories. Fantastic. And the fat drops by around 2 grams. Close enough. But look at this. No skin. Same chicken, no batter, no skin. 205 calories. Still fried. It's still fried. But 205. By nearly 70 calories it drops. And look at the fat. It almost halves in comparison to the original recipe. Nearly halves in calories. And nutritional facts of no skin, just the leg. So like, wait, you're removing it, no oil now, no coating, no skin. No, all the flavor you want, mix it in. There's no calories in this. Who cares about the spices that you add? That's fine. What I'm saying is don't fry it and air fry it. Don't oil fry it, air fry it. 189 calories. You know what you can do there? For those 2 you can have for the battered one, you can have 3 now. You can have 3, maybe even 4, because at least the fat intake is far, far less. Look, 8.3. You only dropped a bit, but because you're not frying it now. It's fantastic. Even if you 4, at least the fat intake is less. The protein intake is much higher as well. And now, before we end, the king of all the different illnesses that we have, sugar. Sugar isn't inherently bad. The problem is we well overdo it, especially in Ramadan. Because this is the problem. Ramadan has become a time to gain weight instead of worship and losing weight. Because you're never going to have this much mitai in any other time in your life except for Ramadan, which is ridiculous. It goes against the foundation of Ramadan, which is to restrain yourself. And especially all the sugary teas. So one piece of advice I can give you is stevia. That's what I have, stevia. I'm calling it stevia. You want to call it stevia, your choice. And other artificial sweeteners. What these are is basically sugar, but it's not actually sugar. And there's no calories. So I did this for my dad as well. It took a while for him to get used to the taste, but you can change and go. If stevia gives you a weird feeling in your stomach, don't worry. Go try Splenda, go try aspartame, and all the other various kinds of sweeteners. Try them, obviously get a small pack, see how it goes. You like it, get the big pack. You never have to use sugar again. You can use this in your baking, your cooking. You don't ever have to use sugar again. This, especially there's a lot of research done on people who take diet sodas and diet drinks. Their weight drops so significantly. Like, I don't want to do this because it makes people think that, oh, it drops in an instant. But I'm telling you, it's shocking how much weight they lose when they switch from their regular drinks to their diet, 0 calories or no sugar alternatives. So seriously, invest in some artificial sweeteners and stop putting actual sugar in your tea. You can make your food as sweet as you want with this. It's amazing. And a piece of advice I leave you on, you really want to have, all these different mishti, right? All these different sweets, all your jalebis, all your rasmalai, I understand. So I will give you once a week. At the end of the day, now that you have an understanding of how small portions can be very calorie dense, I hope that you're not going to have 3 different, like you say I have 1 each. No, you have 1 each of 5 different kind of mishti. Come on, man. 1 each of 5 different kind of mitai. What was the point? You might as well just have the whole box, which is basically what you did. So stick to 1 a day, but what I would recommend is be in a calorie deficit, eat low, control the way you eat, reduce your carb intake during your suhoor, and even breaking of the fast. Have carbs. Carbs are your friend. Do not stay away from carbs, but increase your protein intake. Why? Protein is more satiating, it's more filling, and it will help you maintain your muscle. But once a week, I'll allow you to have 2 jalebis, 3 jalebis, once. It's easier, then you don't need to think about it. If you stay away from it throughout the whole week and have that once a week, you should be fine. Do not overdo it that once a week again, of course. I understand. Now, the final reminder, I've got to say, eat like it's any other day, like the sunnah. So going back to this, Ramadan is not a time for feasting, it's a time of fasting. Okay? The Prophet ﷺ would just break his fast with dates and water. And don't give me that excuse, well, that's all he had. Well, that's the point. They never made it a thing to have more during Ramadan. Whatever he did outside Ramadan, he did in Ramadan. The only thing he increased was what? Ibadah. There was the hadith that he would wake his family up in the middle of the night to do more worship. So increasing worship, not food. Eid is the day to celebrate, okay? You work so hard in Ramadan, you worship. Allah has given you that time to celebrate it. Eat well, enjoy. Again, do not be gluttonous, but eat to your fill, enjoy with your family, have fun. But spend Ramadanian time for worship. Look, this is a long hadith, but it's the first part of the hadith I want to remind everyone upon. The famous hadith when the Prophet ﷺ was ascending the minbar. This is narrated by Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu. And then he said Ameen 3 times with each step. So he was asked, "Oh Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when you ascended the minbar, why did you say Ameen 3 times?" He said, Jibreel alayhi salam came and he said to me, if Ramadan comes and a person is not forgiven, he will enter hellfire and Allah will cast him far away. Another narration is, may destruction be upon him. That's terrifying. The point of Ramadan is to get closer to Allah and attain taqwa. Okay? Not for you to figure out what kind of biryani I'm going to have today. Is my wife going to make kisri or fulab or pilau and some other thing? No. And Allah made fasting in Ramadan to spend His nights in prayers out of faith and your hope of reward and a means of forgiveness for your sins. Okay? So Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu narrates that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whoever fasts Ramadan out of faith and in the hope of reward, his previous sins will be forgiven. May Allah allow us to attain the blessings of Ramadan, to attain Laylatul Qadr, to forgive all our sins, and also become healthier, build good habits and break our bad habits during Ramadan so we can continue being a better Muslim after Ramadan, inshallah. Okay? I hope this helps. Stay tuned for the next video about what time to work out in Ramadan, inshallah, and various other videos that come in between. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.